It was a very unexpected journey, full of very beautiful encounter, a lot of surprises, and very, very rewarding. I really looked into my personal memory. It brought me right away to one of the first trips actually I had when I moved to the US, which was a trip that I took out west, where we went through Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, and Utah, and really go into Monument Valley. And every time it's something that is so emotionally charged. So that was my inspiration. You know, once again, it's a matter of image, it's a matter of texture, it's a matter of color. Those very, very impactful images and photos that we had from that trip were really what helped choose ingredients that have that type of shades and color and the deep red and those earthy tones, and the contrast between what you see during the day, colors when the sun moves and start to go down at night, and you get the shift of the color. That, to me, that kind of movement we wanted to get into the fragrance, and the richness of those vivid color and dramatic contrast. During the early conversation we had with Alchemist and their vision about the project and sense of going out west, I knew IFF we had a net space of Gunsmoke through living technology. But finding the right project to use it is not necessarily easy. It doesn't come around that often. So here, when I heard Alchemist talk about that project, I'm like, okay, this is an opportunity to do something unusual. And the Gunsmoke was used more as a metaphor than anything else, meaning that sense of gunshot that gets your attention, that gets you very vividly aware of what's around you, was very important, because it was to use that as a top note to symbolize the fact that having a top note that gets your attention, that gets your head turned when you pass by. Now, of course, using sense of freedom, it's a sense of what the pioneer went through, and crossing the country and being adventurous and taking risks, taking chances, not knowing what you're going to find tomorrow. So it's that sense of freedom, liberty, and the danger attached to it that was also, to me, listening to Alchemist talk about their project, was something that I wanted to explore olfactively and try to recreate that story at the end. So we used the Gunsmoke to make that note, also to make it easier to accept. We used rose note and vanilla and those type of product to make it smoother and easier. When you're dealing with brands like Alchemist, and you know what their goals are, and there is pretty much two goals. The goal is to have something memorable, but that people are going to remember years after years, but also the performance are key. So one doesn't go without the other one. And if you want to create something that becomes a classic and something that people remember, you need to have those two elements. The unexpected was something that we knew we had in a fragrance, because the original accord was very memorable. But after that, we had to make sure that it was something that would last, and we had the substantivity, and that we had the performance, the awareness the fragrance needed to be part of the story. I went back to that memory of Monument Valley. First time I visited the place, actually, we wanted to be there at the moment where the sun sets, because to be in the middle of something that is so bigger than life, so huge, and you have really the feeling to be in a movie. It was actually the memories of those movies you see in it, with that natural surrounding. I wanted to be there at that moment. And I really, just talking about it, actually, I have chills. It's really what I was looking for, the golden hour of that place, where the colors shift and the shadows just stretch, and you start to have a sky going from blue to orange to red to dark blue. It's just an incredible moment, and that's really what we're trying to tell, the story we're trying to tell with PM. Well, I think in any creative process, it has to be an exchange, and I think with Alchemist, I found partners that express a very clear artistic vision of what their brand is, of what their DNA is. They know what their DNA is, they know where they are, they know where they want to be. They have a very clear creative vision, and I'm trying to bring what I know how to do, to tell their stories and to help them build that creativity and create a story that's gonna pass the test of time. I'm a storyteller, so I'm trying to take their story and translate it into an olfactive soundtrack for them.